With the Los Angeles Lakers playing some of the best basketball in the entire NBA, I have to say this news does come as a surprise to me. The Lakers sit on top of the Western Conference with a record of 29-7. LeBron has looked like an absolute beast, dialing back the clock time and time again to remind everybody that he's still got it. But honestly, if he's playing at this high of a level for this long, perhaps it isn't dialing back the clock. LeBron's been a phenomenal passer his entire career. When he came into the league, he would get compared to Magic Johnson. But this season, he's reaching new heights. He's looking to become the oldest player in NBA history to lead the league in assists. And averaging a career-high 11 assists per game, you could say that he's on pace to do it. And then you have Anthony Davis, all-world basketball player, in the prime of his career. A very unique talent standing at 6'10", 6'11". Some might say generational. He has the ability to put the ball on the floor and control it like he's a guard. For players his size, his body control is truly up there with the best in the game. But not only can he put the ball on the floor, he does everything else insanely well. A big-time scorer, looking to get a Defensive Player of the Year to match. It's unfortunate that the Pelicans couldn't put a truly elite team around Anthony Davis, because he looked like the one player that could be the Golden State Warriors' kryptonite. That is, outside of LeBron James. Or maybe Kawhi Leonard. You get the point. The Pelicans failing to put a team around Anthony Davis led to his departure. And a year later, maybe he'll be departing again. This video, we're going to talk about Anthony Davis and the Lakers contract talks. But before we get into that, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, guys. You will not want to miss another GetlikeCoop video. And that's facts. I'm trying to get to 200,000 subscribers so I can go full time and bring you guys daily content. So be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. This summer, guys, I should be kicking off my IRL basketball content. I talked with my friend that trains for the Houston Rockets, and he's incredibly good at basketball. We're going to be bringing you guys some unique content that you're not going to be able to find anywhere else. He used to train me also, so we have a lot of chemistry. He's going to be starting a channel too, so it's going to be incredibly fun. I want to know IRL basketball content ideas that you guys have for me down in the comments below. I'm not sure if I want to post the content to my IG or start another channel. We'll figure that out. But be sure to follow my IG, handle GetlikeCoop. You guys will not want to miss another post. When you look at how Anthony Davis and his agent Rich Paul forced his way to Los Angeles, you would kind of get the assumption that Anthony Davis is somebody that would be committed to the Los Angeles Lakers for the long term. But that has not been the case. Ever since arriving in Los Angeles, Anthony Davis has been anything but committal. And it's honestly somewhat weird for somebody who you would assume would want to stay in Los Angeles and continue to build their legacy with one of the greatest players of all time. As a Pelicans fan, I can admit that Anthony Davis's time in New Orleans had ran its course. We tried to build around him and we failed. But of course, that's not the case in Los Angeles right now. You look at what the Lakers have, and they have something incredible going on over there. The chemistry is at such a high level. And again, you have Anthony Davis playing with one of the best players of all time. He has the opportunity to build a legacy, the legacy opportunity that he never really got in New Orleans. And I mean, beyond that, who wouldn't want to play in Los Angeles? I understand that at times the media and the hype can be overwhelming, especially if you're not a star player. But even for some star players, the media and the hype isn't for them, and we've seen it time and time again. We've seen players like Kevin Durant say at times the media does go too far. And on the other side of things, for role players like Caldwell Pope or Kyle Kuzma, we see these guys get torn down and scrutinized time and time again. Everything you do in a big market is under a microscope. Take, for instance, Lonzo going to New Orleans. When Lonzo wasn't performing at his highest level, it wasn't as big of a deal as perhaps it would have been somewhere else. Lonzo was able to get his game together, and now he's been balling. He's been absolutely fantastic for the New Orleans Pelicans, and it looks like he's found a home. I actually will do a video on Lonzo Ball soon if you guys want that. The Pelicans and the Lakers played each other not long ago. After the Pelicans and Lakers game, of course, the Pelicans lost, but LeBron took to IG to get off a story. The story said we still gave up too much for him, huh? I thought this was symbolic because LeBron could have sent this story at any time after any one of Anthony Davis's monster games, but he sent this one after a game versus his old team, the New Orleans Pelicans. The way I took this post was I took it as somewhat disrespect to Lonzo Ball, to Josh Hart, to Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram has been absolutely ridiculous this season. He has been destroying. He's averaging over 25 points a game, and he's playing the level of basketball that he was playing last year when LeBron wasn't there, and he's even elevated his game since then. He's playing even better. This is somebody that did not have an offseason to go to work to get better. But again, I'm interested in knowing what you guys feel LeBron meant when he sent this post. To me, LeBron sending this post also gives me a sense that LeBron believes Anthony Davis is going to resign. And again, if you look at the chemistry, you would have to assume that Anthony Davis is on pace to resign with the Los Angeles Lakers. AD's agent is LeBron's boy. So of course, AD's agent and LeBron probably know something that we don't regarding the future of Anthony Davis. Today, Bobby Marks tweeted the 6-month extension restriction for Anthony Davis has now been lifted. Davis is eligible to sign a 4-year, $146 million extension or wait until July and sign a 5-year, $202 million extension if he opts out of his contract. The restriction was in place because Anthony Davis waived his trade bonus. Then, Chris Haynes reported Lakers offered Anthony Davis a max contract extension this morning, but they were informed he would be bypassing in favor of entering free agency. Lakers film room comes out and says this happens with every max free agent. Players can get more money by hitting unrestricted free agency than they can by signing an extension, which is why almost no one signs the extension. But my question to you guys is that if what everybody is saying is true, and if Anthony Davis wants to sign with the Los Angeles Lakers as a free agent this summer, then why is he so non-committal? Now, my personal opinion is that we've seen Anthony Davis be committal in New Orleans, and he's seen committal go wrong. So I think that he has it engraved in his head that he's not going to do that again. I remember seeing reports while Anthony Davis was on his second contract that he wants to re-sign with the Pelicans, that the Pelicans honestly had to blow it for him not to re-sign. He knows the backlash that some players get after they commit, but the fact of the matter is players change their minds all of the time. I've seen it happen with Chris Paul in New Orleans. I've seen it happen with Kyrie Irving. I've seen it happen with Kevin Durant. Players change their minds all of the time. And Kyrie Irving being one of the more recent instances where we saw Kyrie Irving say, I want to re-sign in Boston. I want my jersey to be one of the most memorable jerseys of all time as a Boston Celtic. We saw Kyrie say things like this and then go out and do something completely different. These players are humans, and actions always speak louder than words. Don't forget the DeAndre Jordan situation. Things are not done until they are done in this league. But of course, this is me just trying to give you guys both sides. I honestly think that Anthony Davis does resign as a Laker. There's really very little reason not to, unless something goes terribly wrong in the postseason and they somehow lose in the first or second round, and Anthony Davis sees LeBron aging and he doesn't see a future with that team that is reasonable for him. But again, I'm not sure what leverage Anthony Davis gains by being non-committal. I think there is a legit possibility that he does leave Los Angeles. And honestly, maybe LeBron understands that. Maybe Rich Paul understands that on levels that are deeper than that of the team. I honestly wouldn't have been shocked if we saw Anthony Davis take a 3-year deal so he could become eligible for an even bigger contract. But I mean, even so, I think Anthony Davis is somebody who's going to care more about their legacy than perhaps their final career earnings. Of course, I could be wrong in that regard, but that's just the type of vibes that I've kind of been getting from Anthony Davis recently. Now, the chances are, when it's all said and done, that Anthony Davis will have both of those things. He'll have an abnormal amount of career earnings, and he'll also have an abnormal amount of success. Again, this is a generational type talent. I know as Lakers fans, it has to be incredibly frustrating to be in this position, or maybe not, because the Lakers have been winning and been incredibly hot. But it's not fun not knowing if your star is going to re-sign or not. especially when it's a player as good as Anthony Davis. I feel like no team, no market is immune from something like this happening. We saw Toronto just lose Kawhi Leonard after winning a championship. AD said before, playing for the Bulls is definitely a possibility. Playing in his hometown of Chicago is something he definitely consider. And I think that's something to pay attention to. I want to know what teams you guys think Anthony Davis could possibly go to in free agency this summer. Perhaps we could see a Kevin Durant D'Lo type situation. Imagine AD and Giannis. I'm disappointed we didn't really get to see him and Boogie dominate down in the NOLA. And to touch back on it, I kind of understand why LeBron would make that post, because a lot of people did think the Lakers gave up too much. But that's all going to come down to if Anthony Davis resigns. Be sure to click the video on the screen right now, guys. It's me going over Ben Simmons possibly being traded and what the 76ers' next move should be. Be sure to subscribe. I'm GetlikeCoop. Notice on, and I'm out.